Hey everyone, and welcome back to another video. Today we're going to be talking about Mythics, one of the big new systems in Legion. I'm going to be explaining how the Mythic plus dungeon system works in Legion, including what the deal is with Keystones and the item levels of the gear that you can expect to get from this system. So this is a darn good time for Discord. Since my last mention, the channel server is way up to almost 1,000 people. Basically, it's the main community hub for the channel. It's a great place for meeting new people to hang out with. I've had a great time on there, and with Raids and Mythic Plus coming out, I'm sure we all want to avoid pugging them as much as we can. For that purpose, I've made two matchmaking channels, one for the US, one for the EU, so hop onto the server at discord.gg/Bellular and join the community. Hopefully, we'll be able to have a great time. We're going to get right into it and begin with the Keystones. So, Keystones grant access to Mythic Plus, and you'll find that one will drop from any Mythic dungeon and boss upon each weekly reset. To activate Mythic Plus, it's really simple. You just put your keystone in the pedestal. Now, by default, you'll get a level 1 keystone. The level 1 and 2 keystones just increase the health and damage of hostiles in an instance. Levels 3 through 5 have 1 affix, and then levels 6 and onwards have 2 affixes. You might be wondering, what are affixes? Well, they are modifiers on the dungeon run. They change the rules somewhat, for an example, having everyone take constant damage, having trash mobs and rage at low health, bosses having far more health and damage, things along those lines. Now, as I said, we all start off with a level 1 keystone. You will notice that the keystone is for a specific dungeon, and it has a par time. If you complete the dungeon before that par time, you'll get a new keystone with a higher level. This can be up to 3 levels higher than your current keystone is, depending on how fast you were in that run. If you do not complete the dungeon before the par time, your keystone will be depleted. However, you'll still get a chest of loot at the end. Now, if you fail the par time, as I said, your keystone is depleted. You can still try to run the dungeon again to beat the par time. If you do beat the par time, your keystone will increase by 1 level, but you won't get any loot for that run. However, you will get loot for subsequent runs. And talking about loot, loot does not drop from bosses. Instead, you will get a chest of loot at the end of the dungeon that is based on your time. So if you run fast enough to have your keystone upgrade multiple levels, you'll get multiple chests at the end, one for every level that your keystone upgraded. Then each reset day, so Tuesday for the US and Wednesday for EU, you will get a chest in your class order hall that contains a whole bunch of gear, the item level of which is based on the highest keystone level run that you had done in the prior week. Now, it doesn't have to have been one of your keystones, just the highest level Mythic Plus dungeon that your character completed in that week. So with the overview done, let's go into the loot. So we've got 2 different categories. There is the loot that drops in the dungeons themselves from chests, and then there is the loot that appears in your weekly chest in your class order hall. So the regular loot that comes from the dungeons is item level 640. If you have a level 2 or 3 keystone, the loot reward will be 845. If you have a level 4 or 5 keystone, it will be 850. And this pattern increases with a 5 item level increase in gear every 2 keystone levels, up to a cap of item level 865 with a level 10 keystone. So the order hall loot box then works in a similar manner, however its gear is a bit more powerful. Its gear is item level 860 if you complete a level 2 or 3 run, 865 if you complete a level 4 or 5 run, 870 if you complete a level 6 or 7 run, 875 if you complete a level 8 or 9 run, and then finally item level 880 with a level 10 or higher keystone. Now do note, these are just the base item levels, and this gear can Titan Forge or Warforge to be higher than that base item level drop. So the difficulty levels do continue above keystone level 10, but the gear reward does not increase, so it basically caps off at 10, and if you want to go above 10, that'll help you get your server first or really push the leaderboards, but it won't really be useful for loot. The idea of this system is that most of the gear rewards come from getting your character up to Mythic plus 10 once in a given week. It is possible to do split runs, but I expect that's something that will be really only done by the more serious Mythic raiding guilds. That said, I do want to cover how the loot lockouts work. So first, you need to think of every keystone as its own loot lockout. Remember that only one person's keystone is used for a run, so let's just go with this example. You and 4 friends are going to run a mythic together. You start by using friend 1's keystone. You upgrade it to level 10 over the course of 5 runs, and in the process, everyone gets loads of loot from the chests at the end of each dungeon. You know that anything past level 10 is harder but confers no greater reward, so you start the entire process again on Friend 2's Keystone. In the process of upgrading their Keystone to level 10, everyone gets a bunch of loot chests. You can then rinse and repeat this for everyone in the group. Now you can then swap out someone's main for an alt and upgrade their Keystone. Doing so will continue to give everyone loot, including the 4 mains. So as you can see, split running is going to be quite lucrative here as far as gear goes. The easiest way to think about it is that your loot comes from the upgrading of a Keystone and not the completion of a dungeon. So the thing that really limits how much loot you can get is actually your access to Keystones. Now, do bear in mind, this last section anyway, is based on how things worked in the beta. They might change the loot lockouts for how it hits live, but that's currently how the system is working. When the weekly reset occurs, all Keystones will be removed from your bags, and then the chest in your order hall will be lootable. This chest will contain gear based on the highest level Mythic Plus dungeon that you completed in the previous week. Note that it does not matter if it was your Keystone or someone else's. And that's pretty much how the Mythic Plus system works. It's a little bit unwieldy, takes a little bit to get used to, but it should be a very fun way of getting good gear from doing some pretty damn challenging content, especially once you start getting 2 affixes on your dungeon runs. But anyway, that's it for me. I hope you enjoyed this video and found it useful. Thank you very much for watching, and I'll see you next time.